I'm so very happy. I think it deserves a round of applause. So we got it 10 on 10. You know, it's not that he's saying his three priorities. I don't know his three priorities. But I'm so happy that we could guess what could be the priorities which he would have. And I'm sure that with these lineup, which is there, we will deliver that. Now moving on to a bit of your personal life, if you may allow me to. If given a chance to be reborn, as per your choice, whom would you like to be and why? I have a rider to this. Not anybody from your family. So, whom would you like to be reborn?
I'll tell you this. I think that personally speaking, I don't think you should ever think about being reborn as someone else. I think the power is to identify your own power and your own identity, and choose to be reborn as yourself. Because that is...
Put your hands together for that. That's brilliant.
No, because honestly, we all keep thinking about, yes, I want to be, the next Sachin Tendulkar, or I want to be the next, Bill Gates or Anand Mahindra. But the true potential is already in yourselves. You are already a part of an ecosystem that will allow you to build your own identity. So, yes, learn from others. I think learning is something that you should always keep yourself open to. It's something that has, allowed me to grow as a personal individual. We always work in silos. And I think that all of us should embrace learning from each other, being open to criticism, and also keeping yourself open to attention to detail. Because there's so many things, happening around us, specifically in a school atmosphere. Small things are happening around us, which you can always pick up and learn from. At Doon School, when I was there, I always had a little bit of a creative mind. Honestly speaking, I didn't really like working according to the book. I always loved thinking out of the book in terms of how to apply what I have learned in my classroom, not only about just mugging it up. Because that's been the general norm in India in the curriculum, is that you tend to mug everything up and then you go for the exam and just blurt it out and you get 98%, you're like, okay, amazing. And I am educated, I am a top ranker. But when it comes to applying that knowledge, and the thing is that I've learned this because now while I'm working on my startup, I'm also hiring for my startup. And you get all of these guys with crazy degrees in India, IIM, and college degrees from accounts, Stephens, etc. But when you ask them fundamental questions to apply what they have learned in the day-to-day working of a business, that application is not there. And I think that when we start, focusing on the application of knowledge, and I've stressed this a lot in a lot of places I've spoken, that's when you truly will harness not only India, but your own identity and your own power.
Great, wonderful. I think that's a nice message for all of us, that love yourself so much that you should be willing to be reborn as yourself. What do you love most in yourself?
No, I think that I also tend to introspect a lot. Whatever decision I make, I tend to introspect it at the end of the day and think about whether I've made the right decision or not. I think that is something that's very important, is being able to introspect on each and every decision you make, because it will allow you to learn.
Okay. So you learn or you win. If you do not win, you at least learn.
You at least learn, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great. Little tricky question, but everybody wanted to ask you. What does money mean to you?
See, of course, money is the foundation with everyone's family, with everyone's background. Everyone wants money. You cannot not have money, because then you can't work. So yes, money is an important attribute up to a certain degree. But again, it's more than money. It's what you do with that money.
Correct. How do you use the money? Is that
exactly
a resource?
It's a resource. At the end of the day, I look at it as a resource. Okay, it's what you do with that money that will make it matter. How you invest it, how you deploy it, in what way do you deploy it, which areas you deploy it in.
It can decline as well.
Or it can decline as well if you don't know the value of money. you end up, there are a lot of people who get their first, check 2-3 crores, or first investment. Hypothetically, you look at the startup ecosystem today, you'll see companies like Udan and stuff raising 5-6,000 crores. But if you don't know the value of that money, you'll end up with companies burning 5-6,000 crores to attain a revenue of 5-6,000 crores.
Super answer. I think this was very, very nice. So we learned two things on money today. First is the reserve. I think Major General was very clear on that if you have 500 in your pocket, believe that you just have 300, so that 200 is extra for you. And just to add to that, what he's saying is, how to use the money is probably, I think that was one of
I think that you have to do a cost-benefit analysis, and also you learn these terms later, maybe through the program, but you have to do a cost-benefit analysis of every rupee that you put in, and along with it, an ROI impact.
Absolutely.
Now that ROI impact may not be monetary. It could be in terms of even impacting lives. It could be in terms of impacting lives as well. It doesn't have to be always a monetary impact. But you always have to think about these two things, because if you don't, then you will end up in schemes or end up in programs where you're not understanding where your money is going, but it's not returning any value.
That's depreciating. It's not growing at all.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think we are coming to the end of I would love to go on, but we have limited time.
No.
One very dear question of mine is, any secret of your life which you have not really spoken about, but we are very keen to know? Is that a question which we can ask him? Any secret of your life?
I think, I guess one of the main secrets is that I guess people assume to a large extent that it's very easy for someone like me to raise money, and it's very easy for someone like me to build a business. I think that those are two very big fallacies. Let's come to the first point. I think that I have had probably one of the most difficult tenures raising money for my startup, because there's this new concept over the last 5-6 years in institutional investments that comes to politically exposed people. And a lot of people, you may probably know about this as well, is that a lot of VCs and a lot of professionals in the ecosystem are very worried about people raising money from that background. Now, no matter how strong your idea is, when you get flagged under that scheme, then it becomes very, very, very difficult to raise money. That being said, I think that perseverance is key. I didn't give up. Although I may have met 100 people, and out of the 100 people, I got one yes. That's still what you need to do. You need to go down.
Put your hands together for that. That's perseverance for sure. I'm so glad you said.
Yeah, you need to go down that route, and you will find people who believe in you. Those are the people you really need to keep close to you, and those are the people you really need to do some cross feedback with.
Great.
That's one important thing. The second thing is in terms of building a business. It could have been I could have been easily able to get like 7-8 people from the best companies, and I work in the agri space. I could have got the best people from Reliance, the best people from Udan, the best people from Ninja Car, and said, okay guys, sit together and build a model. But the whole idea was that I wanted to be in sync with the ground realities of the industry. And I spent, for this reason actually no one knew about this, but I spent about roughly a year, about a year and a half before I actually went about, launching the company and building the model. I spent about a year and a half in the mandis, in the local mandis.
That's preparation. That's on the ground preparation.
Of Gwalior, of Jaipur, and of Nagpur. These three cities, I actually camped in the mandi itself. Gwalior was a little difficult. I used to put a mask around myself and put a hoodie on. And then at 3 in the morning, we used to be sitting in the mandi from 3 to 7 in the morning. So, people think that, oh yeah, he must have just gone and, spoken to people and built this. But I actually spent a great deal of time really understanding the supply chain of where I was building the business, from within the mandi dynamic to behind the mandi dynamic, which is the farmer, and then going through the demand side, which is how the customer purchases, why he purchases a certain product, why he purchases from that particular store. What is the reason for him to be sticky? That term sticky that you have. What is the reason to be sticky towards that particular store? What are the consumer habits in tier 1 versus tier 2 versus tier 3 cities? You have to bucket each thing. So these are the things that I really learned, on the ground and kind of spent. My mom would say this, but I used to almost be working like a vampire because I used to be up all night.
Oh, okay.
I used to be up all night studying, these Mandi dynamics and different people, etc., and how people used to buy and sell. So I used to come back at about 8, 9 in the morning, and then sleep from 9 in the morning to 12 p.m., 3 hours, and then restart the whole day again.
My God, that deserves a loud round of applause.
So that is probably something that a lot of people didn't know.
And in fact, that's so motivating for us, And all to put together, it so very matches again the thought we heard in the morning. It's preparation, preparation, preparation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Unless you do that, it will not be at all getting you the kind of results.
Okay. Yeah, and of course, you need to drive the results, right? Like, for example, you look at tier 2 India today, I gave you the example of people not having the ability to kind of apply their knowledge, right? And that happens a lot in tier 2 cities because you get all these people who are graduates, etc., but they don't really know much about processes. So a great deal of training goes on in my company, My Mandi, where we really train these employees from ground up, and they are able to look at a vision of a land